today is the 5th day of me practicing my speaking skills just to improve my interview skills. I've answered all the questions that was asked during my last interview. Those are the 3 questions that I was unable to answer properly, and I'm just gonna move on to answering some other general common interview questions in BA, and I'm just gonna go on and discuss some of the questions that I've seen. I wrote a bunch of them down, so each day I'm gonna come here to discuss them, talk about them, just so it's easier for me to finally answer them during my interviews, just so I get better, improve my interview skills. So today I want to answer a question about how I'm gonna deal with a stakeholder that gave a vague requirement, a vague description of their requirement, of their need. In cases like that, I think the first thing would be to ask more clarifying questions, trying to understand what solutions they're looking at, what problem they're dealing with, and what solutions they're looking at. For instance, if a finance manager says they want a reporting dashboard, they want something that would improve their monthly reports and make it faster, because management or some people they need it faster than it is. So that's one way to understand it. What type of dashboard, what do you want? Do you want detailed specifications, or do you want something that will just come up and running? Do you want it, how soon do you want it? Things like that. And then in some cases, stakeholders just struggle with understanding their requirements, their needs. In such cases, I would just use prototypes or some mock-ups, like previous report, example of similar previous reports or dashboards, and just let them decide if that same example is going to work for their problem, for their needs. And then I validate those requirements. I make sure to validate those requirements with the stakeholder before moving forward, before documenting at all, and then moving forward. So that's how I'm gonna handle that part. Another question I want to answer is, what is the difference between business facing BA? Because there are BA in just the business space, and there are the technical BA that I work closely with in software development environment. So I would say business BA primarily focuses on understanding the business objectives, the stakeholders' needs, and improving a lot of processes. But for the technical BA, they work more closely with developers, solution architects, just to define system requirement and the integrations, and then to understand how data is going to flow, like the data flow, and the technical, and a lot of technical specifications. Both still gather requirements, and then they still have to bridge communication gaps. But the business BA focuses more on the business problem, while the technical BA focuses more on how the technology solutions will be implemented. And to be honest, they overlap, in my opinion, especially in organizations where BAs still need to communicate effectively with both the business and the technical stakeholders. That's exactly the type of my last role. I dealt with the business stakeholders, the finance, the operation, the production manager, and then I also dealt with the technical teams, the software managers, the software developers. Yeah, they are mostly software developers, because my last role was an oil and gas organization where it's an oil and gas. They deal with oil and gas products, but then they still develop software they do some consulting and software development for some external fellows oil and gas companies. So they deal with the example of software that was built was some predictive maintenance that was for predictive maintenance for I think that was for to predict failure product equipment failure, exactly. So also equipment failure, and also what else? A lot. That's the one I can remember now. That I just a lot of some other software. They built a lot of software. So yeah, I was saying that I dealt with the business stakeholders and of course the technical. I was the middle person. I was able to speak some of the technical languages that I learned along the way, along my experience, and also some business terms, because the importance of that role is to that company is be the middle person that will interpret some technical jargons that were coming from the technical department and software developers and all of that, and to the business side that were less technical. They might really not be able to like understand the technical terms. So I got those information, write it in layman, translate it in business terms. They were easier to understand for the business side. So yeah, that was what I meant when I said I was like the middle person between both of them. So yeah, I'm hoping to that's all I have to talk about today. And tomorrow I have a list of questions that I'm going to be talking about each day. So tomorrow I'm just going to talk about I'm just going to go on and discuss another question or two, just like just either one or two questions. So yeah, I was able to do this earlier today. The time is 3:48 p.m. That was because my child is taking a nap now. I can get some time to do this. So yep, that's it. That's all I have to talk about today, and I hope to see myself. I mean, or any other person. I don't know. No expectation. Tomorrow. Bye.